Hello, everyone, and welcome to the ninth and final session that we're holding for the Aspire Launch Party Q&A. Thank you so much for joining. We're going to go on ahead and get started here. I know everybody's ready to start their weekend. Um, so once again, thank you for joining. We're going to start this off actually with a video that provides an overview of the Aspire program, as well as some navigational tips for using the Workday app with your phone. This video is also available on our YouTube channel in the recent uploads section.
Welcome to Aspire. Aspire is a promotion program that leads field service technicians to their next level of promotion and pay raise. Once you have completed the required training programs at your service level, Field Service Tech 1, 2, 3, you are eligible for promotion. All you need to get started on your Aspire goals is the promotion path document for your team, identified by supervisor, and Workday. Check the document for your service level and decide with your supervisor which training you need to get that promotion. To access the Aspire program, use the Workday app on your phone or desktop. Let's take a look at what you would see on the phone app. Your home page opens. Click on Learning. Click on Menu. It has lots of choices. If you would like to browse the Aspire programs available, click on NORAM Field Service Gaming. All of the Aspire self-paced courses will display. You can enroll in any of these courses at any time. You can click on the filter in the upper right to sort the courses by line of business. Let's choose Utility. You will notice right away that all the utility courses feature the wrestler. This visual guides you to all courses in the same line of business. To level up and earn a promotion and pay raise in Aspire, you will need to complete learning programs. Work with your supervisor on getting enrolled in the programs you need for your promotion. After you are enrolled in a program, you will find that program in Required Learning in the Learning menu. All of your required programs and courses are found here for the Aspire program and for L&W corporate programs as well. When you click on your required program in Aspire, you will see that most programs have three elements: a self-paced course or courses, an ILT or instructor-led training, and an assessment. The only part you need to complete in Workday is the self-paced courses. Your trainer and your assessor will enter your attendance and grade when you complete the training and assessment. You can then check on your grades and completions in My Transcript, but this information is much easier to read on a desktop computer. Aspire really is that simple. You asked for a clearer path forward in your career. We listened. We created Aspire to clarify your goals, guide your aspirations. Welcome to your future with Aspire. Thank you for learning with us.
So once again, welcome. If you noticed, your microphones have been disabled because we do have quite a few folks in these different sessions. So if you do have a question that you think of, during the presentation that we have today, use the Q&A function that's right here in the meeting settings, all right, and type your question on in there. Now, if you have any issues with the Q&A section, you can also type your question in the chat. Next up, we're actually going to have Lisa do a live demo of the desktop experience for Workday as well as the Aspire program.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here today and taking a little smidge of time out of your Friday afternoon, which we know that you're ready to start the weekend, because so are we. Here we are. The screen you're seeing now should look really familiar to you. This is what happens, what you'll pop open when you click on your Workday tile in your Okta dashboard. And everybody kind of opens in the same place to find the Aspire program and elements of the Aspire program, you're going to choose, you can click on either View All Apps or the menu up here. Either way, the same thing is going to show. This list of apps will appear. You want to go to the Learning tab. That's where all the Aspire program elements are. When you click on that Learning tab, it opens up with your personal learning and anything that has been assigned to you or is required for you. So you see there that I have not yet done my Inside Man next chapter here, next episode, because I like to save those because they're kind of a treat. I do have 3 programs that I have been enrolled in. Now, you cannot enroll yourself in a program, and the reason for that is because that involves live training. And so that needs to go through your supervisor. Your supervisor will reach out to technical training to get that live training scheduled for you. And that is kind of exactly the way that we're doing it now. So there's really no change there. But when you and your supervisor have decided what products or processes you need training in, they will work with us to get you assigned. So here I've been assigned the Ideal program. And we see the wrestler here that indicates that it's a utility product. And so I don't know what this is all about. I'm just going to go ahead and click on it and see what goes on. So I open it up. It's got a due date, tells me it's required for me, tells me that I could be eligible for Aspire benefits from it, says that the program length includes 3 items. And this is pretty typical of the programs in Aspire, that they will have 3 parts to them. Some of them might be a little bit different, but for the most part, they will have three items in them. So we're going to scroll down a little bit and we're going to see what these 3 items are. So the first item that's listed is usually going to say SPC at the end, which means self-paced course. And these are basic, most of them are the courses that you used to take in L&W Learn. They are no longer in L&W Learn. They have all moved over to Workday. And so you are very familiar with these. You've done these before, typical 15 minutes. Sometimes there are as little as 5 minutes. And these self-guided courses, you take them at your own speed, and it gives you some knowledge about the product or process that you're going to be learning about in live training. So they're really valuable. They also can be used as a review later on. So this is the only one of the 3 items that you yourself have to do in Workday. You will have to complete this part. The other 2 items are somebody else entirely. The second item is labeled ILT, and that means that it is an instructor-led training. So that means it's live training. Okay, so live training, the only person that can put in your attendance for live training is the trainer. So after you go to that training or take part in that training, you will see this in your transcript that you have completed it. And then the third part, this is kind of the new part that Aspire is bringing, and that is an assessment. So after you do the self-paced course and the live training, sometime shortly thereafter, after you have a little experience in the field with that product, you're going to be assessed on your knowledge. And how it's not going to be a pencil and paper test. It's going to be you completing tasks on that product. Or maybe showing your way around that product and showing that you would know where to find certain things on that product, or whatever the assessor asks you to do. The person that will be your assessor is probably going to be your immediate supervisor, and they will be the ones that will have to put the information into Workday on your score. You will also get a copy of that assessment with your score on it through email. And once that assessor puts that score in, this little circle here is going to change to a check mark. So everything that you complete, as you complete it, you'll see a little check mark in the little gray circles. And once they're all done, you're done. So back to the top because this is the only part you're responsible for. So you open up your program, you see a self-paced course at the top, and you say, okay, I'm going to go over to the big orange button here, and I'm going to start the program. And then I click on it, and the only thing that opens up is the self-paced course because it's what you're supposed to do first. You can always come back and do it again, maybe as a review for your assessment after you do the live training, but you should do it before you go to live training so that you're really ready for that. And it tells you that it is a prerequisite and it gives you a little bit of course information about it. And just like Inside Man, when you're ready to start that, you click on that orange enroll button and you get started with that learning. Now, the nice part about being in Workday instead of in L&W Learn is that with L&W Learn, you had to close out of the self-paced course and go open up the test and take the test separately. And in Workday, the test is part of the course. So it's all in one place. It makes it much simpler. And that's how you navigate through a program. It's really pretty simple. Now, when you go back to your learning homepage, which is where we are here, besides these things that you've been enrolled in, you can also look up your learning history. And the reason for you to do this is to see which of the programs in Aspire you've completed to get you closer to that promotion. So we click on Learning Transcript and you will see why the video says use your computer to do this, because this is really small words. And trying to look at this on your phone is very difficult. You can do it, but it really is easier on the computer. So when you open it on your computer, you see you have this top section, which are the things that have been assigned to you, but you have not yet started them. Some things that maybe you have started, they're in progress, but you haven't finished yet. And then your learning history. And this shows every single thing you have done in Workday since your time in Workday. And so you can always adjust how many items you can see and how many pages you have to look at. That's all down here at the bottom. So mostly what you're used to seeing, if you have happened to look in here, mostly what you've seen are like the Inside Man completed. So that's really all you've seen here. But when you start completing programs, you will see a course offering that will be perhaps a live training. So when your live training appears in here, it will not just say completed, but it will say attended also, because you have to attend. And it should say pass because you attended, and that just to make sure that you did that. Now, if you have your assessment in here, you'll have the title of the assessment, and then it will tell that you've completed it, that you did attend the assessment, whether you passed or failed, and what your score is going to appear down here. You will also, like I said, get a copy of that assessment after you've completed it so you know what you did well and maybe any areas where you need improvement. And that comes separately to your email. So that's how you look up your progress right here in Workday. You don't have to do any special requests or anything like that. You just go into your Workday whenever you want and see what you've completed. The last thing I want to show you here in your learning homepage again is if you are one of the many people who take self-guided courses just because you're interested. We get a new product and maybe it's not in your area yet, but you want to learn about it. You can take any self-guided course you want at any time. To find those, when you get to your learning homepage, you're going to go right over here to the links. And you see that we have our very own special link that's just us, NORAM Field Service. So North America Field Service. That's us. When you click that link, it's going to open up all of the courses, the self-paced courses that you can enroll yourself in. And they all have a character based on which area you want to look at. So maybe you want to look at, maybe your area is getting some ETS stuff. Maybe they're getting quartz for the first time. And so you want to find that. If you go over here to skills on the side and click that, you can see we have electronic game, EGMs, you have utilities, you have development, which is like safety courses, you have electronic table systems, and you have proprietary table games or PTGs. Well, I'm getting quartz, so I want to find out about the electronic table systems. So I click there, and all of the little dragons pop up because that's the symbol for electronic table systems. And so I'm just going to start with the cabinet overview. That seems like a good place to start. So I click on that. The course opens up. It lets me know that there's a learning program associated with this, but I don't have to take the whole program if I just want to take a look at and learn a little bit about the quartz cabinet. I do exactly what I do with any of the Inside Man courses. I see it's 10 minutes. Boy, I can pop that out in no time. I click enroll and I take that course on quartz. And I can take as many of these as I want, and I can take them over and over again. If I've studied up on quartz, but it's a couple of months until I actually work with a quartz, I can come back in here and enroll again and take it again. So that's always your option. And other than that, that's what lives here in Workday for you for Aspire. Please put any questions you might have into the Q&A. I see that they're starting to bubble up, and we will answer those questions at the end. So throwing it back to you, Leonard.
Thank you very much, Lisa, for that detailed overview. And just as a reminder, if you think of a question, ask the question, and we'll be answering those at the end of this session. So next up, we're actually going to go over some FAQ, frequently asked questions. If you have not looked at your Field Service Links app recently, go on and take a look, and we've actually added 2 more buttons at the very top. First one is Technician FAQs. So if you go here, we have a list of FAQs. We're going to be adding more based off of some of these sessions. Today, we're going to go over some of the FAQs that really focus on the transition from CAP over to Aspire. But please take a look here for additional FAQs that we don't cover in today's session. So first question is, what makes Aspire different from CAP? So there's quite a few things that make Aspire different from CAP, but we outlined 5 of them right here that are kind of the biggest differences. So first one is that CAP is credit-based compensation. So what that means is, you know, when you get your CAP credit, right, sometimes you get a penny, sometimes you get 5 cents here and there. And then, you know, you get that per quarter. Well, we're changing that. So now it's going to be promotion-based compensation. So promotion-based compensation, you're still going to get your, you know, your merit increases for your annual review. But when it comes to this program, the compensation will happen when you're promoted from one level of technician to another. All right, so going from Tech 1 to Tech 2, Tech 3 to Tech 4, and so on. Another difference is, you know, with the CAP program is that CAP, I kind of say it's more of a choose your own adventure, right? So there was a distribution. You have to get a certain number of these kind of credits, certain number of these kind of credits, certain number of these kind of credits. And then once you get them all, then you know, qualify for promotion. Well, we shifted focus, and now we will be focusing on knowledge across the different lines of business. So as you increase in your level as a technician, the amount of knowledge that you need to have tied to the different lines of business or products needs to increase. So for example, as a technician 1, you would need to know how to do installs, conversions, removals for EGMs, and for utilities, you would need to know PM. And as a Tech 2, you would need to then know more, and it increases throughout. So we'll look at an example of that a little little bit later. So also with CAP, it was the same thing. So it was a one size fits all, right? So one cap for everybody to wear. We actually worked with the leadership across all of the different areas and got basically their feedback so that your program is customized to your area. All right, we're going to look at one of those examples as well. But basically, no longer are you, in order to get promoted, forced to take a class on something that doesn't even exist in your area that you're never going to touch. All right, so this is tailor-made to the products in your area so that you are showing aptitude on what you're actually working on. Another difference is that the old CAP program, current progress was kind of hard to access. You had to go into VPN, do a bunch of other stuff, and then kind of get a report. Well, this one, as Lisa pointed out, it's in Workday, right? So your completions are in Workday, and you can look at those at any time. And then I would say this is the biggest difference is with CAP, there was no requirement for demonstration of skill, right? So that means that, you don't have to prove that you know something in order to get a CAP credit. So with Aspire, there are assessments, and those assessments allow you to demonstrate that skill before you're signed off as completing a program. So next question here is, what will happen to my CAP credits? So the good news is that anything that you have completed in the old CAP program will roll over. All right, you're already being paid for those. We're not going to make you repeat them. So right now we are working on putting in all completions through Q1 of 2023. Q2 of 2023, your leadership is, compiling what those credits are, what those completions are, and, that same process that there's a delay, right? We're working through that. Once those completions are all ready and finalized, we'll be importing all of those in as well. So currently, if you were to look at your completions, you're not going to see anything yet, but just bear with us. This is a transition period. You will see all of those completions targeting end of July, where everything, up through Q2 of this year will be shown. So what is a training program? So with CAP, you hear CAP credits, right? Well, with the Aspire, with Aspire, you'll be completing programs. And a program has multiple components to it. So like Lisa was talking about, there is the self-paced course component. You would take that self-paced course and then it would show completion. That's really going to kind of set the tone for the training and, prepare you for that live training. Also, it might create questions that you might have that, you're better prepared going into the live training. Another component of the program would be instructor-led training. Now, since we're almost post-COVID-ish, right, we're doing a lot more travel. Travel's being approved, which means that we're doing a lot more live instructor-led training. But we'll be working with your direct leadership to identify the best method of training delivery based on the program, and we'll go from there. So it will be a combination of live or webinar training. And that last piece is the skill assessment. So this skill assessment is standardized across the board, which means that if you're on one side of the country and you're completing a program, if you're on the other side of the country, that assessment is exactly the same. So that means that everybody is then performing at a set standard across the board, regardless of where you are. That assessment will actually be completed by either your direct supervisor or someone that they delegate to complete the assessment. So next one, will we still use L&W Learn? So unfortunately, the answer to that is yes. All right. Self-paced courses are no longer in L&W Learn. They have been made inactive so that none of you are tempted to take those because you will not get credit. All self-paced courses or anything related to the Aspire program will be in Workday. However, manuals, documents, processes, bulletins, all of those are still going to be housed in L&W Learn so that you have access to it directly from your phone. All right, and then finally, how do I find out which products I can be trained on? So for this, you would refer to your team-specific advancement matrix, and that is found in the Field Service app as well. So I didn't point it out before, but we're going to go through it. So this button right here that says Aspire Program Paths, you would click on this. All right, enter your email address, choose your area, and then choose your supervisor. All right. So once you've done that, you're going to click submit. Okay. And then you'll receive an email with a PDF attachment that looks similar to this. All right. This will actually outline what programs are available for your specific area. And what is basically expected of you to learn to be able to then qualify to move on to the next level as a technician. Now, this is an ongoing exercise that we're doing with all the leadership. So these will be updated on a quarterly basis. So if there's new products in your area or things get adjusted, what have you, you're going to see those reflected quarterly. So the advancement matrices that you're going to see that you receive are actually going to be from 2023 Q3, and then next quarter will be 2023 Q4, and so on after that. So that is all of the FAQs that we have. I don't see that there's any new questions that have come through. Remember, use the Q&A function within the meeting or use the chat function if Q&A doesn't work. And while you're all thinking of a question to ask, I'm going to put a quick poll out there for you all.
So could I bring up a question that folks might want to ask?
Yes, Lisa.
Okay, so this is kind of different, and I'm a Tech 2, and I'm looking at the list, and I realize that there's some courses here there's some products here that I have not been trained on. But I'm a Tech 2. Is that going to lower me down to a Tech 1?
I don't know, Lisa. Will it?
Oh, he's quizzing me. That's what happens when you do a training with your boss. Actually, no, it won't. It won't change your tech level at all. If you're a 2, you're going to stay a 2. If you're a 3, you're going to stay a 3 until you get that promotion. But as you look through that list and you realize, oh, I need some other trainings, have a conversation with your supervisor and they will communicate with us so that we get you the training that you need, because you can't move forward until you've gathered up and closed up all the gaps that are behind you. And we want you to make sure that you are fully trained so that you are really ready to not only move up the technician ladder, but maybe even beyond.
Thank you, Lisa. And I'm looking, I still don't see any new questions. So we do have this set for 45 minutes, but if there are no new questions, we'll actually be ending the meeting.
I was hoping to get more responses on the poll. We only got 11 responses. We have 30 people in here. We do like to have an idea about how you're feeling about this. We are getting lots of 4s and 5s, which is great. But I just like to remind everybody that if they do think of a question later, because I do that all the time. It's, never have that good response right on the spot. You can all email technical training at technicaltraining@lnw.com with any questions that you have as we move forward with this. And that's going to be true as you really actually get into it and start seeing things. Of course, your supervisor is always your first line of information, but if you just are at a time when that's not convenient for you and you want somebody to ask, please email those questions to technical training.
Thank you. And we actually got a question in the chat. So how long should we expect to wait if we're requiring a live training? So, that really depends on trainer availability. But just like now, we will work directly with your direct supervisor to get that on the schedule as soon as possible. I'm going to put some mood music in the background here. Oh, there's a new question that just came in. Once you've completed the training required to be promoted, how long is the process afterwards for the promotion? So that is a very, very good question. So just like with CAP, it would be at a quarter. I believe we're looking at doing promotions biannually, which means, 2 sets of promotions per year. Once that is all processed and finalized, you would then be receiving your promotion. Now, there's final sign off with your leadership team. We are reporting the education level and the aptitude demonstrated. So that would be an additional conversation that you would have with your direct supervisor. Very good question, though. Thank you for asking. So I will say, if there's no more questions, you're definitely welcome to exit the meeting. Again, it's for 45 minutes, but if we're, that last part is for Q&A. If you're done and, you're ready to go, have a good rest of your day and have a great weekend.